other set of continued topics. And yesterday we have seen the a workflow diagram, and we have observed related to a basic reference architecture from user input to how evaluation is being done. So let's begin today with a different session, but I like to recap so that we will try to understand where are we standing from yesterday's discussion. So if you look at the flow, and all these are independent agents, and our prime goal is to be a properly distributed. We need a distributed system which should not fail at any cost. The goal is we have to design a system, and the system should have a proper fallback with no failures. So from user query, from intent classification, and then you have some retriever service which is trying to retrieve from vector database. At the same time, there is something inserting into the vector database, and you have LLMs for reasoning, and then you have tool calling agent which will call the tool to get additional information, and then you have your validation model or some LLM as a judge. Okay, and then you have your guardrails, and then you will show your final response with no information or personal information provided. So this is a proper workflow that we have observed. But at the same time, this is not enough. There is something that while you developing or when you start developing an application related to, especially when it comes to LLMs, so you will see that what it can solve, but at the same time, while developing, it can create some problems. Okay, so which are not so called as problems, but they might be a other set of consequences which can be introduced during the development. Okay, so let me differentiate those. So what am I saying is, when you're developing an application, you see what it solves. Okay, at the same time, this might create a new set of problems. Okay, what it introduces, or you can say new problems. Now, to differentiate this, so basically your idea for starting any application or developing any application, your ideology is so different that this could solve so and so. Okay, but during development, you will not see yourself that confidence because your ideology is got stuck somewhere and you have to work on the problems now, right? So you completely get deviated. Most of you might have experienced that in a different scenario. Okay, even as a part of my experience, yeah, I faced a similar situation. Okay, now coming on to what it can solve. For example, if you take the same regular concept of a single agent system, okay, let's only take it as single agent system, okay, and with a limited workflow requirements, okay, we need not to make it more complicated, okay. We'll take a single agent system, and that is being following some instructions. We have some prompts, and it is following some instructions, okay, or it may have too many, though it is a single agent system, but it should call tools. We have MCPs connected, and you have some retrieval mechanism that has to retrieve. So same procedure, but I'm only calling as single agent. Okay. Now, or else we can consider the both multi-agent also. We'll go with the same workflow of loan prediction. Okay. So now what can it solve? Basically, you'll have that specialization. Okay. So when you say about specialization, okay. So you have multi-agents here. You have different agents. Who are the different agents that you have here? Okay. You have somebody who is taking the documentation, and you have some agent who is working on income verification. You have an agent where it's going and checking the credit score, and you have an agent where it is checking the fraud, and then you have to validate along with risk and compliance. So you have almost one, two, three, four, five, six agents working here, right? So if it is a single agent, then one after the other, all it should handle by itself. Okay. But if you are taking multi-agent, then each agent is working parallelly, but they are interdependent. So one output is dependent for the next agent to verify it. So definitely you need all these verifications. So your ideology is something that, yeah, this problem could solve with all these agents. So you have that kind of assumption. So different agents, okay, own like document intake, okay, and you have credit, you have somebody checking the income verification, okay, and then you have uh, credit check. I mentioned credit check. You have some fraud check, and then you have risk, and you have compliance, okay, and then you have validation for final approval, right? Before you send a final approval state, you have some validation. So these are the things that it should follow. Okay. Now, when you say what it solves, okay, okay. So when you say what it solves, so I say that you have different agents, and each agent will be taking care of all these things. So I say something like this. Then that is totally fine. But the thing is, will it really solve, or is it trying to create some complexity in coordinating from one agent to the another agent? So if you practically see, when you go ahead and you start developing and observe this in practically, then you will definitely face some consequences that the interaction or the complexity of interacting or coordinating is a bit difficult. So I think yesterday one of our attendees is also asking a similar question that um, is it an output going in a parallelization, or is it a output coming in a sequence, or how it is dependent? So definitely one output is dependent on another output. So when it comes to the second, so when you are thinking to develop this application, you will definitely have in your mind that each agent is independently taking care. Then your assumption is parallelization, right? So what do you think when it comes to parallelization? So parallelism is something that independent checks, okay, independent checks at the same time, and these can do not depend on each other. So agent is taking care is what your assumption. Okay. So do not depend on each other is what your assumption initially while developing. Then you have something called validation or verification. Okay. Verification or validation is one of the agent. Okay. At the end. Okay. At the end of, before you say that this is a final approval state. So you have some validation agent or one of the agent who can validate, who can validate another agent's output. Okay. Or you can also say that it will compare it with source evidence. Okay. It will compare it with source evidence. So this is one of the verification agent. Okay. Now coming on to the next. Now once it got verified and sending it to a final approval, or you can also have another check saying that human review or human in loop. Okay. So human review. Now when it comes to human review, why you are having a human review? So all your agents are automated instead of a manual person sitting there and processing the entire steps at every stage. So you have your agents working as soon as the applicant uploads the documents or submits the request. So these agents start working in a parallelism and they verify and then come back to a human review very instantly by understanding all the set of documents. Now, human review is something that it is what it is trying to bring down from this stage 1 to stage 3. This can be done very instantly within a very short period after his submitting the request. But if we compare with the manual work, this would definitely take, for at least for verification stage, it will take 24 to 48 hours. And soon after they submitting the documents, this would take 10 days at least to get this to come to at this stage to verify it. Then again, somebody, senior person or somebody who is going to approve under a manager, then he will review it again and then he will send it to manager for approval. So these are the things that they will take care with a long period of time, more than 10 to 15 days or 2 to 3 weeks. Let us think in that direction. But you are cutting down the time to at least 1 hour or 2 hours, and this human review is directly going to the manager. Let us assume like that. Okay. Now, in this human review, what are the takes that additionally manager will take care? So manager will take care of risk at a very first step. Okay. Then you have low confidence. Okay. What is the confidence level that it is trying to take care? Whether it's low, high, medium, whatever the things that you can allocate here. So risk, confidence, and then you have very particular thing is you need to take care of policies. Is it really following the company's policies correctly or not? Policies, sensitivity, sensitive cases or past cases in such scenarios, okay, can be routed to the human review. Okay. So human reviewer will definitely take care, and you can have a separate agent, or you can build a chatbot which can work on managing the states, and it can route to the policies, checking the sensitive cases, and it can also bring the confidence score with what confidence that response is coming from the LLM, and you can have a additional check with respect to the risk, and both the parties should not feel bad when you're approving or rejecting a loan. So even though you are approving a loan, doesn't mean that it is more customer favor, right? So it should benefit both the parties. So that's how you approve the loan. So in generally, you can have all the conversations happening which are very convenient and giving a happy path to both the parties, for the bank and for the customer. Now, to to fetch the additional information or after human review and to validate based on the human review, and human definitely doesn't have the complete knowledge of that particular applicant, right? So he will definitely go and while he was developing this application, he has some ideology that he want to review by fetching the information from additional data sources. Okay, or his he must be having a CRM application portal where the applicant information is completely available with his past reference data, or the bank is additionally having customer data. So you can assume something like that, and this human review agent wants to fetch the information based on the prompts. Then you need an additional tool diversity call here, and this will try to diversify the prompts coming to the tools, and it will try to fetch the information from additional data sources. Like you call the APIs, okay? If you have any CRM application portal, you call the APIs or you call the databases, okay? You call the databases, or you will have a search agent which can search other tools from the other tools or from other APIs, or you have RAG pipeline to fetch the information stored to compare the information. So these API calling or search tool is nothing but it is open search, okay? And then you might you might not call a specific API, but you want to call multiple APIs parallelly, then you can integrate with MCP servers. Okay, so this is where you are diversifying the tool to fetch the information. Okay, but after fetching the information, you have to take necessary action. But it is not that you're trying to you're prompting to fetch the information when it is specifically when I am calling about MCP server. Okay, so you're fetching the information, but you're not coming to a conclusion. Okay, so it should again diversify to your prompt should divert to the LLM call or LLM as a judge where you can validate the response coming with a confidence. Okay. So additionally, you also think that I will have audit information at each step. Okay. What can it produce? What is the evidence? What is the reason? Okay. With the timestamps and a trace ID so that you go and keep tracing the information completely. Okay. So at each step, what it is producing in response, okay, and you collect the evidences, okay, and you will understand the reason along with timestamps. Okay. So have all the traces at every step. Okay. So these are the things that you keep in your mind while you developing. Okay. There is nothing wrong, and every step looks like your success. Okay, you're 100% success here. Okay. Then let's understand what are the new problems that it is trying to create. First, each agent, if it is independent, there is, and your assumption is there is no dependent on each other. But when it comes to verification agent, are you verifying each individual output? You're not comparing the source evidences, you're comparing the source evidences, and you have each agent, you're validating each agent independently. You're not combining them together. That means you will have more number of LLM calls. So let's come to the design here. Okay. So when I come to the design, you have your UI. Okay. This is your UI screen. Then you have your user A login. Okay. And you have all set of regular questions. This is your this is one of the section where you have all set of regular information, and you have another session where user will try to upload all the documents. Okay. And you have several stages. Okay. And this is the dashboard where you call as document intake. Okay. Document intake. Let us think the dashboard is document intake. Okay. Similarly, you will have another agent. Okay. Okay. You will have another agent, that is verification agent, income verification agent, right? Income verification dashboard. Okay. Okay. You have this. So at every stage in your application portal, you have all set of information from top to bottom. Okay. So this is income verification dashboard. This is document intake. You upload all the documents related to your information. And the third one is something related to credit. Okay. And you provide all your details, and it will take information related to credit. Okay. So this is credit dashboard. So you have all the set of information, and you're uploading the necessary or giving necessary information over the dashboards for all the set of sessions. Now each session is now working as an agent. Okay. But what is the um, on the another side, from the back end as a developer, if you look at yourselves while building the application. Okay. Now the coordination complexity is increasing. Okay. Coordination complexity is being increased. How is this coordination complexity is being increased? So agent must agree on the task boundaries. Okay. So if it is not sticking to the same boundary, then your agent will divert or provide a happy path with whatever the information provided, but he cannot come to a conclusion on the task. Okay. Who is an agent? The true difference between an LLM and agent is LLM will only provide the response, but agent you can come to a conclusion. Okay. So agent is something that should come to a conclusion. So now if the coordination complexity has been increased, then agent will never come to a conclusion. Then this is trying to bring the complexity in the task boundaries. So basically, agent must agree to the task boundaries. Okay, to the task boundaries. Once he agrees to the task boundaries, then it should hand off the information, okay, to the state, and this should be in a continuity. Okay, and the state ownership, okay, should carry forward to route to the particular nodes and get the final decision with some validations. Okay. So this is how it should actually work. Okay. But since your coordination complexity is being increased, then it will not fix to the set of boundaries. If it is not fixing to the set of boundaries, then it will divert the information. Okay. So we need to take care that new set of problem. Now, what if there is a shared state? Okay, shared state risk. What do you mean by shared state risk? Okay, an agent can read, okay, stale data. An agent can read stale data. Agent can read, okay, stale data. Okay. What do you mean by stale data? Outdated information. Okay. Yesterday, I see one of the attendee asking that I do not want to use more than 6 months data. Okay. That is 100% correct. If you are not having a proper information from with the latest information within 6 months, then agent will try to take the information from past 6 months back information, which is an outdated information, right? Then you need to make the agent to verify with the user that I do not find any most recent information. Do you want to proceed with so and so information available in the month and year? So it's a very stale data and it's an outdated data. But do you providing this access to the user to verify it? Not really. This kind of information or the verification is being done and the application is completely processing and providing the final review to the human. And who is the human sitting somewhere at a very senior position and approving the loan? So then by default, if the user information is not so latest information, then definitely the whatever the state of approval, okay, the final review given to the manager will be an outdated information and manager will not approve the loan, right? So so you need a additional check or you need to send an raise a ticket that which sends an email to the user and they will have some in-person meeting, something like that. Okay. So the application should route in such a way. But at the same time, we need to additionally take care how to get the latest information instead of waiting or instead of blocking the time or pass the information very correctly so that none of our time is being waste. So we need to take care in such a way. So what is this agent? The agent who is reading the stale data, okay, should also consider by overwriting, okay, overwriting each other's, okay, or make decisions, from a inconsistent evidence. Okay, so it should make sure that while it making the decisions from the inconsistent results, it should always verify with the human reviewer or somebody who is trying to validate the responses, or you whenever you have an additional agent to validate the responses. So you're increasing the complexities. If you look at in the overall picture, from one state to the another state, you're trying to increase the complexities at every stage. Consistent evidences, okay, from inconsistent evidence. So this is the shared state of risk. So for example, you have one agent giving one output result, another agent giving another output result, third agent giving another output results from all the dashboard set of information. Okay. So all the agents should have a proper set of information. If one of the agent is missing with the information or having a stale data, then it is risk. Okay, so that is the second set of problem and why it is matter for us. Okay, then the third one is we need to take care of failure propagation. Okay, so what do you mean by failure propagation? Okay, a tool can fail or can hallucinate with an intermediate answers. Okay, and can be in the downstream, if it is trying to hallucinate or if it is trying to provide some random responses intermediately or intermittently, then the downstream decisions are getting violated or the downstream decisions are not coming with a good confidence score. That means there is some failure propagation because of hallucination. Okay. Hallucination, okay, failures, downstream decisions. Okay, so we need to take care of this failure propagation. So every agent should come out with some confidence score. Okay. So confidence score itself does not bring down the hallucination. Okay. There could be a good confidence score with good hallucination as per that particular input. So we need to take care how that input and how the response is correctly fitting for the user applicant, whether to approve the loan or whether to reject the loan. So we need to take care that failure propagations very correctly. Okay. Now, then you need to definitely take care of two things for any applications that you are working, especially when it comes to AI. So there is something cost and there is something latency. Okay. If there is latency, especially when it comes to this kind of applications, you have some wait time. There is no harm in it. Okay. But there are few other applications where user will try to look at the response very instantly. So when he clicks the submit button, then he looks for the response very instantly. Especially when it comes to any models that you are working with, either with Anthropic or OpenAI or Gemini. Okay, you have your chat window, and when you start working on these applications, you see some wait time in the response, right? When you see the wait time in the response, you will not eagerly or your curiosity to look at the response or read the response is somehow getting deviated in that particular time period. Then if it is taking too long time, you click on the refresh button or open a new chat window. Okay. So what exactly happening here? User is not able to uh, patiently wait until the response come. So your latency should be very quick, and he is not expecting more than 50 to not even 20 to 30 seconds. It's a very huge time. So your response time should be within 20 to 30 seconds, not more than that. Now, to improve the response time, your latency should come down. And if you want your latency to come very down, then you should have your processing power should have that much of compute to do it. Then you think that, okay, if I require 3 to 4 GPUs to build such an application to show a proper response on time, do you really think that that particular application is giving you that much of revenue? So definitely cost and latency both are interlinked, and you think in such a way that what can how should I change flow my flow so that my cost will come down and my latency will come down. Then whatever the parallelism that you're thinking, okay, with respect to independent checks and do not depend on each other. Now you start checking that why can't I combine all the outputs and verify it one single agent? So this is how you think, okay? Uh, and at the same time, you might also think that can I combine each agent together? Or can I put all the information in a single go and have only one single agent? Yeah, you might give a try with all these scenarios, which are a new problems that gonna raise when it comes to cost and latency. Okay. So in another way, I can say that multiple model calls, okay, multiple model calls will create more cost. Okay. And even though if it is you are integrating with MCP tool calling, okay, so you might be thinking that you will get additional data source information and all, but this is also costing because of LLM usage. Okay. So if something getting failed, then you have retries, which are frequently retrying the information and increasing the time at the same time. Okay. This is another consequence when it comes to multiple LLM calls if something intermittently failing. Okay. So this is runtime will get increased and the cost get increased, and this is totally interdepending on latency. So these are the things that you need to take care at the same time. Now, coming on to the security exposure, okay? So you have your predefined prompt for every agent, right? You have your predefined prompt, you have several prompts at the same time, and if these are, if when you are working on the, especially on the agent where state and memory is managing, okay? So that should route to multiple nodes and each node has a different prompt to execute as per that particular agent behavior, okay? So these are the things that you are trying to, when you are trying to take care, then security comes into the exposure, okay? You need to take care of security, how it is trying to expose. So more the agents, more the tools getting expanded, okay, then you have something called authorizing the surface with respect to the application. And when you are calling the APIs, there is something called a token getting generated, and then the token should get validated within particular sleep time. So if that is getting failed, then your application is getting crashed with no response. So you have to definitely take care of token authentication. This is very important, and I see, especially when I was working, and I see this token authentication failures, too much of failures, and you can't hit the LLMs continuously. You need to have your sleep time of 5 to 6 seconds to maintain this, and 5 to 6 seconds of sleep time will definitely cause a latency issue. Okay, so we have to work on this token authentication and improve the concurrencies. If you improve the concurrencies, also sometimes this might trigger, and you need to have that kind of understanding how LLM can be utilized very minimally with a good latency. Okay, user should never feel that this is taking too long time to get output generated. So that is the very primary thing. If your application is having too much of latency and your application is very much useful, though user will not use your application today, he might be having that patience, but going forward he will not see that curiosity. He will instead of he utilizing the application, he might divert into the topic into the different way because of the latency. So we have to definitely take care of that particular issue. So if too many LLM calls, okay, and too many responses coming from each and every LLM call, then definitely there is another thing that which is very important to generate the metrics, and this metrics will provide you the confidence to launch your application. So this evaluation is truly depend on the final answer of your application, right? So if your final answer is totally interdepending on the hallucination and which is leading to failure propagation, and you have your multiple agents, if one of the agent is having stale data, then again it is going to fail. And the coordination complexity, if it is deviating its task boundaries, then again it is failed. So evaluating the final answer is totally interdependent on all the above consequences. If something is failing, then definitely the other one leads to a problem. So, so till yesterday, when we are understanding the application, we felt very happy that, yeah, this agent will solve something. But if I look at in another direction, then this is all the whatever the steps it is trying to solve, whatever the time it is bringing down for an human to solve the problem, then it is also creating a new problems, right? So we need to definitely take care when we are working with, especially when we are working with agents. So we have to take care this kind of situation. Okay. So now let me come to an architecture. Okay. So I mentioned saying that I mentioned saying that you have multiple dashboards, you have document intake, you have income verification, you have credit dashboard, and at the same time, you will have your risk, compliance, and all the checks, fraud check also done. Okay. So instead of me writing in very bigger diagrams, so let me put all together here in this way so that I can navigate to our database. Okay. So you see here, you have credit dashboard, and then you will have your fraud dashboard, and then you will have your, what else you have? You have your risk and compliance. Okay. You have your compliance. Now, somewhere you have your database. Okay. This is your vector DB. Okay. And and also let's have a SQL DB. Okay. Now this is your vector DB and this is your SQL DB. Now, how this is going to work? Let us understand. Document intake, you have textual information. At the same time, you have documents. Okay. You have text and you have documents. Income verification, he can provide a textual information. Okay. And this will create a JSON object. Okay. That is fine. And the credit, yeah, this can also have text and JSON. Okay. And fraud and dashboard, text and JSON. Okay. So risk and compliance, you have all your policy documents. Okay. So now, which portion of your documents will go into the vector database? Definitely, there are two major and important ones. Those are nothing but risk and compliance and document intake, and these documents will go into the vector database. Now, this is very clear. Okay. So let's have something like this. And yeah. So these documents will go into the vector database, and policy documents will also go into the vector database. Okay. Now, what else can go to SQL database? Okay. So the documents that are trying to create vectors here, okay, you can use single document, single vector database. That's not a problem. Okay. But I want to differentiate which comes into the SQL queries, which comes into the vector database. Only two set of information are going into the vector database, and the rest are coming as a general, your regular SQL queries. Okay. And you can have your JSONB object also. Okay. That's not a problem into the metadata. And you can insert all the information into your metadata, and you can fetch from metadata itself. Okay. That's not a problem. Now, the rest all are into the SQL queries. Okay. Now, as soon as a user trying to provide all such information, then what is the very next step? The very next step is he will submit the application. Then your agent starts working. Okay. What is the very first agent? Document verification agent. So this agent, what this agent does very immediately, this agent has some prompt. Okay. It has some prompt, and this prompt will try to validate by passing it to LLM. Okay, your LLM call is here. Okay, and you will see some response from your LLM. Okay, so do you really think that as soon as he provides the documents, those documents are enough for to get so and so response? Not really. The documents are something that it should try to map to correct agent. So now, for example, income verification, there might be some document under his database which might required for your verification to get a response. There might be some document which is in the credit dashboard, in the credit database, which might be required for your response. There might be something, there might be, and after getting the response, now you have to have a validation check as per the policy documents. Now you see you have your prompt, this document intake agent has some prompt, and it is trying to get all the set of information. Okay, he's getting all the set of information. That means it is trying to build the context. Okay, trying to build the context and then pass it to LLM. Okay, now this is the flow it is trying to execute, and this response, which is very important for you, and this response is trying to send it to verification agent. Okay, this is a verification agent who is considering this response and your policy documents. So similarly, I can write it in the same way. Okay, this verification agent will have, okay, will have prompt, will have a prompt, and this response will come here as a context. Okay, context along with by mapping, by doing some similarity search on the policies. Okay, it will try to fetch this policies related based on this response and combinedly together builds a context, and then this will talk to LLM. Okay, and when it talks to LLM will provide you some response. Okay, and in your prompt you can have some confidence score or something, and this will provide a response somewhere around 80% with some confidence. So now this is the way that you try to, verify the response with some confidence score. This is a verification agent. Similarly, for document intake, you did you are building the context. Okay, your context may be mapped from different set of information. Okay, similarly, you will have income verification agent. Income verification agent also have some similar kind of response, and then your verification agent will try to verify the response, and you have your fraud. Okay, now all together, when you have all the responses coming from all the verification agents, then combinedly all together you will build a final response for human review. Okay, so verification agent 1, verification agent 2, verification agent 3, verification agent 4, verification agent 5. Okay. So now you have all the responses which are coming from each agent with some confidence score. Okay. And you combine them all together. You combine them all together and send a final response for review. Okay. Now, when you send a final response for review, is this sufficient enough? No. Why? Because this final response review is a summary that is trying to provide to your manager. Okay. For a manager or for human review who is reviewing it. Now, he should have all the set of information related to this particular application case. Okay. Or applicant. Okay. So he should have all set of information. This particular human reviewer should have all set of information. Now he should have a separate dashboard where he can chat to fetch the response, to see the correctness. Okay, to see the correctness. If this is not accurate, if this is not accurate, this human review will take much more longer time to go and fetch the information, and he will have lot of wait time for the right response coming from different departments. So then human reviewer will take much more longer time than the agent. Okay. Then why do you need an agent to solve this problem? Human itself is trying to take longer time to validate what agent is providing. So you should not have that much of wait time for human reviewer. Human reviewer should have a consolidated information with the correctness. So this is what the final step, which is very important and very crucial. Okay. And then if he feels the response is correct, then he will send it for the approval stage. And the approval stage would be very easy, and just have one stamp and then signature done. So this is what, but the criticality, if you look at, okay, the criticality that if you are looking at the today's discussion, that what we are trying to discuss, the new set of problems to be solved for calling these many LLMs. If you look at document agent, initially it will not give you a proper response, or it might fail. You need to have a retry logic there. So this is in a basic, in the entire application for single applicant, how many LLM calls you have? LLM call 1, LLM call 2. For each agent, you are calling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for each separate agent, how many times you are calling? 5 calls. So total 10 calls. And then you have final response, one more call. And then human review having multiple calls. So you see how the coordination of the complexity is being increased, right? So somewhere we have to bring it down and to improve the latency, to increase the accuracy at the same time. So which are two in opposite direction. So just wanted to bring it out, all the scenarios, consequences, what problems it can introduce in the today's session. I'm open for the questions if you have any questions on this. Yeah. If you have any questions? Approve. Can you help the attendants to unmute them?
Yeah, sure, Abhinav. Approval.
Yeah, Vishwagupta, you can go.
Hey, this is a great session for sure. Two questions I have. First question is, we have solved this credit approval system 20 years ago, by automating credit card approvals, loan approvals, and so on, using Java and all the technologies. So now I want to understand your thought process here. What we are getting by adopting the agentic framework to solve the same problem? Number one. Yeah, please go ahead.
So nothing pretty much. You can automate if it is a standard following some standards, okay, predefined standards, okay. So what if there is a situation which, see, since the bank, almost all the banking systems, if you look at, okay, these are the high components that they check, right? What are those checks? One is credit check, past history, okay, related to fraud, and what is the credit score that gives highest weightage for any approval, and you get your loan, and income verification is the another verification. So these are the three things they go and check it for any person, okay? But what if you look at the credit card fraud detection, okay? But still there is some fraud happening continuously, which is unpredictable till today, right? That could be most imbalanced data set in any ML models if you look at, or deep learning models if you consider, okay? But the percentage of fraud is very minimal. But none of the user will accept to get a fraud happening to his or her account, right? So at the same scenario, if you consider the approvals also, you will not come to a conclusion if it is a hard-coded or a standard procedure where they are just simply increasing the interest rate and giving you the approval for some reason, which is hard coded or which is automated with their standards, you will not agree that, right? So if LLM or some agent is trying to give a happy path to the customer or to the banker in providing the additional way of solving the complexity by providing some summaries or providing some additional information which will benefit both the parties, then LLM will definitely play an important role there. Instead of we having set of rules predefined, which are done so long years back, whoever the senior working on that. Did it answer your question?
Great, very good. Yeah, thank you. That makes sense. Very good
Yeah.
answer. And also, second question is, can you please elaborate on evaluation framework you mentioned in the first few minutes? Evaluation is very important. How do we evaluate the framework we came up? Can you cover a little bit?
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to cover. Sure, I'll try to
Thank you.
cover. So, you want me to cover it in verbally or? Yeah, I can cover it up. Give me some time. Once I take up few questions, I'll cover
Yeah,
it up.
sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Bhujan, you can go ahead with your question.
Another great session, Abhinav. Thank you so much. And my question
Thank you.
is, so you said you are calling, sorry, multiple LLM calls are there, right? Because of multiple agents, so multiple LLM calls are being called here, and that makes that complexity increases and also increase the cost and latency, that kind of stuff. But I missed the part, like, how do we reduce that? How do we reduce it? And what if, say, if even if we increase, say for example, even if it have multiple calls, so 6 7 calls total, so what is the difference in the cost, or is it too complicated having a 6 7 calls, or I didn't get that clear picture on?
Yeah, so basically, if you're increasing the calls, then your context is being sent to LLM is being increased, right? So when you build a context also, since we are working with the documents, okay, it will try to fetch all the similarities based on your prompt to build a context, which is going to the LLM. Then every LLM is costing based on the tokens that is trying to get processed. Okay.
Okay.
So your context is very huge, then you burn more tokens. So that way, if you are using a very costly model like Anthropic is very costly, right? So if you are using such model, then you are burning out your tokens very immediately. Then if you are burning your tokens, then that is costing a lot for same kind of response. See, something what I wants to call here is, for example, the conclusion is same, okay? The conclusion as a human review is same. Okay, let me explain you in this way.
No, so because it has a different agents, right? Different agents has a different
Yeah.
purpose. So you have to provide the
Yeah, sure.
the input, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
We have to
you are
provide
right.
the right
Okay.
context.
You're correct. Okay, I got another thought to explain it in a different way. So give me a minute. Okay. So you see here, This is my final approval stage. This is my final approval stage. Okay. So my approval stage is something like this. If my pass percentage is lying between 75 to 100, 75 to 100, I'll approve the loan. Okay. Then whatever the percentage or whatever the confidence that my LLM is giving to me, okay, I will approve the loan. There is no doubt at all. Okay. Now you have agent 1, agent 2, agent 3, agent 4. You have 4 agents trying to give you the percentage. Okay. They're trying to give you the percentage. Now, each agent is trying to give you the percentage means it is trying to respond, bring you the output from your prompts, correct? So when you are trying to get the output from your prompts, then here comes the costing, okay? How you are trying to increase the costing, the context is more. If there is more context, then you are burning more number of tokens. Is it really required to get more information? More information doesn't mean that you'll get a proper response. It is not something like that. You provide a correct context, you get a proper output. For example, you provide 1 to 2 PDF of information, okay? Your summary would be the same. Summary would be the same set of 10 to 15 lines. Let us think, okay? Maybe if you are providing third page of PDF, your summary would be increased to 17 lines, not more than that. Okay, let us assume, okay, because always you want to fall less than 20 lines only. Okay, you want to generate only summary within 20 lines. Okay, and if you are providing fourth page of PDF, okay, you will reach to 20 lines. Let us think. Okay. But what is the context that you are providing? A page of information you are increasing here to get only 3 lines difference, right? So what I mean to say is more the context doesn't mean that your output is so much having so much of difference. Okay. It is having less difference, but it is trying to summarize in that way. If my loan approval stage is lying between the range is lying between 75 to 100%, I do not need to use very costly model, okay, which is not required for me, okay, at a very first stage. And I need not to send more context which can bring down. And the third thing that I can look at here is, do I really require all the 4 agents to get this percentage of whatever the percentage that I'm going to approve? I really don't require all the 4 agents. I will prioritize my agents in such a way that which one is top, which is highest priority, which is second priority, which is third priority, and which is fourth priority. I'll try to prioritize in that way and give the least importance and or escalate or remove that in my consideration. For example, if I'm not getting any, agent 1 is providing some response, which is not at all required for me for my decision, or agent 4 is giving me some response which is related to credit score, and my credit score fall back, okay, like I'm not reaching out the benchmark, somewhere I'm standing 200 only, my score is 200 only, and this is failed, okay, then literally I will not call any other agent. I will directly provide a final decision. This is you can't approve the loan, saying that your score is 20 out of 100, and you can send this information to the so and so applicant because his credit score is 200, which is the basic fundamental criteria for approval. So then that means I'm trying to bring down the cost. Similarly, um, to process end to end for all the applicants also, I'll try to prioritize my agents in such a way. No, this is an instant thought that I got when you're questioning me. But other than this, you can come up with different scenarios also at the same time.
So on top of this one, right? Yeah, now I understand that, how do you reduce the number of LLM calls based on, suppose you're giving that credit score is less than 200, it doesn't make sense to call other LLMs, right?
Correct.
So, but before that one, suppose I have one two itself. Like you gave the example of the PDF file, first page, second page, third page, and fourth page. So that means we have to do the chunking and all those things before providing this
Yeah.
context, right?
Yeah, we have to process that. Correct.
Okay. So that way we
Yeah.
have to reduce the context.
Correct. Yeah. So chunking strategy came into the picture only to reduce the context.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
So yeah, for every prompt, you will not provide the whole set of document always, which is not required, right? So you fetch
Right.
the similar information only. So that's how the chunking strategy came into the picture.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem.
Anil, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Ade. Abhinav, I have a question regarding the vector DB and SQL. Maybe I missed something over there. So you are connecting only two items over there. So why only two? Why are you not doing connecting all the vectors to other items?
So vectors, okay. So we can do that, but embeddings can be done only for either if it is an image data or video data or textual data. So you can't create embeddings for a numerical data, right? So if something related to numerical data, you can't create embeddings. So documents can create when you process the documents, it's a textual information where you have or image information where what you have, so you can convert them to embeddings. So when you find similarities, the only way to fetch the similar chunks, okay, is only through processing them to embeddings. So embeddings are the numerical representation of the textual words in the document.
Okay, got it.
So
So
that's
the
why
remaining are
we are
in JSON
processing.
format. So that's what we are going with the SQL, and remaining two are the document formats. So where we want to do the embedding thing.
Uh, Nothing like that. Okay. See, these are the JSON objects. Why I mentioned JSON, because so manually, if you look at every session, okay, now income verification, you will ask which organization you are working for, and what is the salary range, for what is the time period. So all these are set of questions that you keep asking for income verification, right? And
Right.
all these set of information, you can store them in a single JSON object. There is nothing harm in it. And you can retrieve with the JSON object. That is one thing that you could do. Or you can have your table information and all the fields are present in the table information, and each field can go in as a one value into your table. That is another option that you have. The third option that you have is, for all the set of informations, you can create a session ID for that particular applicant, and all the information can go as a metadata into that particular database. You need not have multiple databases also. That's the third thing that you can do. So, but to your point, documents has textual information where you can convert them to vectors, and something which is not required, you need not to create into vectors, which is not required, and you are diluting the information at the same time, which is unnecessary call.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Dinesh, you can go ahead with your question.
Hey, Abhinav, thanks for your class today. The similar kind of question we are having, we are I already discussed with you one time. We have some practical issue here with modernizing some applications. We are
Mhm.
providing the legacy application to our Copilot. We are using Copilot, and so the controlling the tokens is how we can manage that, like to reduce the cost.
Yeah.
So each
So,
application, so
mhm,
the legacy code that we are providing is, for each time it's different from each application. There is
mhm.
sometimes it's 2-page application, sometimes it is like, some workflow will be more, so that could be more code.
Mhm.
So how we can handle to reduce the cost?
So, are
It's
you
a broad
reaching the
question maybe,
benchmark?
but yeah.
No, 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 no. This is a real-time problem. It's not today. It's not only you or me facing. It's whoever using. They are facing the same problem. And um, if you look at the research side, context management is the latest one, which where they are trying to optimize the improve the accuracy with managing the tokens itself. Okay, if you look at all the
Okay.
latest versions of models gotten released very recently, every
Yeah.
model does the same. You give a minimum prompt, it will provide you the very detailed response. So that's where they are working on exactly. Okay. So
Mhm.
this is real-time problem. But I remember your use case. You're trying to work on the code basis, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but um, I so sorry to ask you, but I asked we can connect in the offline also, right? Because I first
Yes,
I need to
yes, Abhinav.
understand how is your workflow.
So the
Yeah.
workflow is basically we have 3 agents. We are trying to deal, no, one agent is actually doing the existing code review, and the second one is basically creating the. So the second one is the design one. Like, we are trying to understand the review, whatever it is given from the output from the review agent. Then we are trying to do the design one. So we have we have the another agent which is doing that. So there we are getting the modernization part of it.
Yeah, I understand. What am I saying is, do you have any catchy data?
Uh, no.
No. Okay. So, okay, let's do one thing. Can you reach out to me offline because there is
Yeah.
something first we need to understand the flow, and
Mm.
then once you reach the accuracy, then you can work upon the managing the tokens, okay, to look into the
Okay.
cost. So
Okay.
before reaching the accuracy, it is not ideal situation where we are working the managing the tokens. Okay, so let's focus on that
Okay.
and then come to
Understood.
this area. Okay, but
Yeah, I'll touch
context
base.
management, I will going forward, I will have that kind of session, how to manage the context to an
Mhm.
extent of my knowledge, what I have. Okay, I will have that kind of session.
So is it still evolving, Iman?
Yeah, it's still going ongoing, and it's a very
Oh,
huge problem. Um, that's one problem of uh, I cannot say it's as a problem. It's a consequence, right? So
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
consequence of understanding
Yeah,
the LLM.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Sure, sure, Abhinav.
we
Thank you very
cannot
much.
come to a judgmental situation like how we can understand LLM, ML models or deep learning models. LLMs are purely non-deterministic. You change one keyword, it will give a different response, right? So all
Yes.
because of
Mm.
the weights it has internally getting processed. So we need to have that kind of correct weights to see proper response. So still trying to understand that.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Abhinav.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, we have one last question, Abhinav. Shiva, you can go ahead.
Yes, uh, thank you, Abhinav. So I think you're
Hi,
giving
sis.
the great session. So I think the
Thank
one
you.
of the questions you are answering the tokens, how to manage the tokens. Also, I think the biggest problem in the future. So we need to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
manage those. The second question is, even though they're doing the, agents are, doing the process, processing it. Why we need to have the manual, manual checking on those? Why we need a
Yeah,
manual interventions?
yeah, correct. So manual interventions are very, very important because the very first thing is, um, for example, as a developer, when I review something, my assumption is different. Okay, because I understand how it works. So I will not come to sooner or later, I will not conclude my application very quickly because my understanding is totally different when I see the response. Now the same response is shown to some other person who understand the application at a user level. Okay. Then looking at the response, he will never come back. Okay, because you can't explain him that oh no no, this is the reason why it happened, we will get back to you, and you can't say such kind of answers to the every user who is coming or visiting to your application. That's a second set of audience. Okay, now internally, if you look at, as a developer, if I am understanding something, my senior would understand something, my business partner would understand something. Okay, by looking at the same response. Okay, now if you have a generic opinion, okay, a human review who is neutralizing the response. Okay, giving more weightage to the user response and giving less weightage to the technicalities. Okay, if he is trying to neutralize and removing the bias inside, I'm trying to ask a developer to, can you work upon these areas to improve the response? That's a very good thing, so that nobody is feeling annoyed by looking at the response, right? So if you look at ChatGPT, okay, any chat model, okay, go and ask any question. Go and ask any question. It will never make you to feel bad by reading the response. It will always give you the very happy path. You talk about anything, it will give you very happy path, and reading the response, you'll feel very comfortable. Okay. Sometimes it might be lengthy, you will not read, but whatever the lines that you're reading, you will feel very happy. So they can give you very stringent answers. They can provide you, their prompts can provide you very response that which might make you feel bad also at the same time. But none of the responses are coming to the user in such a way that user is not feeling bad to use the application. So that's the intent of it, right? So the correctness, the bias that we are trying to remove, making it very neutral, and making it very helpful. So these are all the things. I'm just telling few things that comes into the mind very quickly. But other than this, there are several scenarios where human review will play vital role, because we are purely depending on machine, which is trying to provide a response which is purely non-deterministic, where you cannot come to a conclusion on single go. So human review is very important there.
Okay,
Did I
thank you.
answer your question?
Yes, you did. And about the tokens, you're gonna give the separate session on that one.
Yeah, I will come up with a separate session because it's we need to come with a scratch. So I'll come up with that session later.
Okay. And what are you shared, yesterday and today, these sessions, do you have a kind of practical, um, we need to do any practical
Yeah,
things? Do you have any kind of script?
practical. I will share that particular information. Okay, reach out to me on my LinkedIn. I will provide documents or something that I could bring up for this. Okay, but right
Sure.
now I do not have. But since you request, I'll share that particular information.
Sure. Thank you.
I think that's all we have with the questions, Abhinav. Do you have anything to continue?
Yeah, so one of our attendee requested something related to evaluation metrics. Okay, so there are two things that we need to take it into consideration. One is related to traces. Okay, so what are traces? These are all comes under observability. Okay, and evaluation. Okay, so when you talk about evaluation, when you talk about evaluation, there are two parts. One is trace and the other part is metrics. Okay. So traces are something that what type of field that you are capturing. Okay. Field means if it is an LLM call, if it is a database call, whether the insertion logic is happening correctly into the database, or the LLM is responding correctly, or the agents are trying to map correctly. So from one call to the another call. So all these things that you need to take, you need to have a correct validation. Okay. That means you will look into the logs and you will see all the information correctly coming in the logs. So this is related to traces. So what are the areas that you will focus? One is for your workflow. You have different agents, okay, and you will map them with which section ID, which application ID. Application ID is one of the parameters that you consider, okay. And you will look into the timestamp. Is it a correct timestamp that particular applicant is trying to provide the information to trace the logs? Okay. And in this whole entire application, that particular applicant can navigate from one dashboard to the another dashboard. So then you should have which step is he trying to respond over the dashboard. Okay. Current step ID, something like that. Okay. And status to look into the error logs. So these are the traces that you will look into. Okay. If you are looking very detailed with respect to agent, so which agent are you calling? Okay. Is it a document intake agent or it is credit agent or fraud agent? Okay. You take care of agent level also. Okay. And if it is submitting to the human review, so human will try to review or he will try to respond the feedback. So you take care of that traces also for human review. Okay. So these are the things that you'll take care. Okay. Other than this, you can still elaborate in a much more detailed way when it comes to traces. Okay. Now coming on to the metrics. When it comes to metrics, the very first thing that you will come to a conclusion is decision metrics. So decision metrics, how are you trying to take this decision? One is based on human review. Okay, based on human review. At the same time, you will also try to take the decision based on the ground truth. The ground truth. What is ground truth? Ground truth is nothing but the actual response. Okay, you're comparing the actual response with the LLM response and how are they deviating is what you're going to check. So if you are very much pretty close to the ground truth, if your LLM response is pretty close to the ground truth, then your decision matrix is accurate and falling very close to the actual truth. So this is how your decision matrix is the very first matrix that you're gonna consider. Then you will see the consistency. Consistency is also the another consequence where currently the industry is facing. So for the same prompt, you'll see the different outputs. Okay, that is what the consistency is. So ideally, you should see for same input to the LLM, okay, you should see same output. So this is what the industry is currently facing a problem with with respect to consistency. And there are few ways we can solve the consistency. Okay. To one of our question, consistency is also one of the problem where you are seeing a different output responses for the same input. Okay. So consistency is one of the problem, and we have to put it in one of our metrics to see the output responses are same or different. Now, recovery rate. Recovery rate is very important that if your application crash or something got timed out or something is restarting, okay? So how frequently is this happening? Is it happening for every request or something is okay to crash internally, which is not affecting user? So we need to see into that. Okay, this is one of the metrics that you take care of. So similarly, if you are calling multiple tools or MCP server, how is it's failing? Okay, whether that particular database is existed or values are existed, what are the fallbacks that you can have? Is it a 500 response, 404 response, 403 response, 200 success response? So you need to have all the error logs correctly handled in your metrics so that you will see the dashboard correctly with the count of metrics. So these are the few things, and very important thing is human escalation. Human escalations are very important. So for why you need human escalations? Okay. So if every response of your decision metrics based on the human review is correct, okay, then there is no problem. Your application is working absolutely how you want to achieve it. But if you are escalating it or avoiding your application response and you're going with your own response, that means your application is not having importance. That means you're escalating that particular response. Then it's an human escalation. If the count of human escalations are being increased, then your usage will come down. So this is very important in your metrics. That's how you need to take care. Okay. So these are the metrics that you consider, but at the same time, there are few other metrics. If you look at the framework of RAGAS, okay, you will come to know, or you can also go with Langsmith framework. Okay. So not every metrics is important to your application. It is purely depend on based on the use case, which is the parameter that you are highest, you're considering highest, okay? You're giving high priority. So those parameters are important. Not every parameter is really required to evaluate your application, which is not required. But for your understanding, you can go with these two frameworks. But if I talk about loan approval only case, then I will only look into the decision metrics, consistency, recovery rate, and then human escalations. If the count of human escalations are very less, then my decision metrics is very accurate. So this is how I consider. So with this, want to stop and just
Thank
send
you,
me a request
Abhinav.
over the LinkedIn and yeah. Sorry, did someone speak?
Thank you very much for covering, Abhinav.
Yeah, thank you. So send me a request. I will try to get some documents and I can share over the documents. And I'll also share the documents with the team and Aprup can also share. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure, Abhinav. We have one last question from Shiva Inampudi, so we'll wrap it up after that one. Shiva, you
Yeah,
can go
sure.
ahead with your question.
Hey, thank you everyone for the Gen AI and then the Abhinav for the informative sessions. So my question is basically in our organization, only Copilot is enabled, and I am also beginner to the AI. So where should I start, and what tools I should start working on?
Okay. So Copilot, you are enabled for the coding part?
Not yet, or maybe I'll have to check.
Okay. So that's totally fine. So, so may I know what is your work, day-to-day responsibilities, and what are the areas you are working on right now?
Currently, I'm kind of into a management, but would like to move into a programming side. So that's the reason I'm just checking in. So more of Azure Data Factory and the Azure BI's area where I can work on.
Okay, you are into business intelligence also. Okay, so that's a good area to work. Okay, so now whatever the reports that you are trying to validate, okay, so you can utilize any of your GPT models or chat models. Okay, send a screenshot to ChatGPT and ask to summarize the information. Okay, that way, whatever you are trying to validate manually, it will also provide you the additional insights to review your particular BA reports. So that would be a better use case to start with to understand how LLM works and what inputs you need to give to see a proper response that is matching as per your expectation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
but you
tools
can
you
connect
can
with
suggest to start with?
courses you're talking about.
Maybe not a course, but a tool perspective
Tool perspective. So
for
So
a
first,
programming.
the very first thing is you need to understand how it works because since you are very new, have you been experienced with ML models or DL, deep learning models or NLP, something like that, or
No,
it's very first?
not that.
Yeah, that's what. So you're very from scratch and you're very new to this area, right? So it would be a bit confusing. Directly, there are no tools to start, but the thing is, you can work on prompting actually. So, based on your work on day-to-day responsibilities, if you start working on prompt engineering, then you will understand how LLM works initially, at least with the chat models. So from there, you can have a understanding. But directly jumping onto the programming will make you to deviate the track, and you will somehow lose the interest at the same time.
Okay.
You'll get exhausted. That's what I want to say.
Okay. Thank you, Abhinav.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, please ask Abhinav. So he'll be here for 2 more minutes.
Abhinav, can you go over the just like 5 minutes on the projects also? So
Yeah,
that in the
sure.
last 15 minutes, Abhinav can cover the remaining questions.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Abhinav, is that okay?
Yeah, fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, so like try to register for the new batch. We'll reach offline to provide you about the more course content and also about the previous batch recordings and the GitHub projects. This course content will be provided to everyone with regards to the 14 weeks course plan. So like it is the breakdown of how we teach, how we start from the foundations of AI, machine learning, deep learning, and NLP, and how we teach with the generative AI perspective with regards to the LLM, and also with the agentic AI framework, LangGraph, Crew AI. Everything in this course content will be provided to you once you register and give your details in the registration form. And we'll reach you offline and provide you more details on this particular course content. So these are the topics that we are going to cover in the 14 weeks course plan. Try to like register for this one, and also like follow the YouTube channel for your recorded sessions. Since last 4 weeks we have been teaching on the free bootcamp sessions, and everything is uploaded in the YouTube. You can find it over there with all the recordings. And also try to follow the LinkedIn page. We'll give you all the details about the new batch and also with regards to the boot camps and what we are conducting in the future. Everything will be posted in the particular LinkedIn page. So feel free to reach us offline. We'll give you high-level overview about the projects that we have designed for all the students for the new batch. So we'll be giving the overview about the beginner level projects and also like different use cases. Everything will be provided to you with particular phases. So with the 10 projects that we have designed with the different use cases, and also like for the intermediate level and the advanced level, we'll be covering everything with you and we'll be giving access to you with the enrollment form and everything. So try to keep in touch with us. Our support team is already posting the registration link, and also they are posting the AI Hub WhatsApp group links in the chat. Please try to join the AI Hub WhatsApp group. So you'll be getting all the updated information over there. And coming back to the project, so the intermediate projects we teach on all the RAG vector databases, as I mentioned earlier. For those who have joined for the recently, or for those who have joined today's session, so these are the projects that we teach, and we are going to give you the high-level overview about these projects. And we have also level 3 projects with advanced level projects that we cover under LangGraph, Agentic AI framework, and also like fine tuning LLMs, cloud deployment, everything will be given to you. And it is a complete full stack AI architecture that will be given to you with this step-by-step implementation guide. So this will be really useful for you to build your portfolio and your profile. Definitely like will reach you offline once you register for us. And thank you so much for attending today's session. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask Abhinav so that he'll be able to answer you. Otherwise, you can just we can drop off for today. And I see a couple of people raise their hands. We'll be taking last questions now. Is that okay, Abhinav?
Yes, Abdul.
Yeah. I'll just ask them to please be quick with your questions so that everyone gets the chance. So I see some of the people raise their hands. Ram, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Abhinav, my question is pretty short in the terms of enterprise, right? So enterprise already we have a set of applications, right? So where we have this, for the front end, back end, everything. Say, for example, I have Oracle, right? So if I infuse, because, my organization is not added a AI there. So if I'm going to infuse an AI layer there, right? So we are talking about the vector databases. So I mean, there'll be a period where there'll be a conjunction between the Oracle database and the vector database where we need to upload the data, something of that sort, or help me to understand that part of it.
Okay, so Oracle database. So what basically vector database plays an important role if you want to use some similarity search only. Other than that, you really don't require vector database. There are so many use cases. Initially thought of going with vector database and then ignored the vector database after creating them. Okay.
Okay. So which
Because
means we'll
you
be
will not
using
get.
the
Mhm.
database, existing database access, and only
Yeah, you
the
can use. Go ahead, Ram. Sorry to
no.
interrupt.
My question is, I mean, say if we are not going to use that vector database part of it, so, especially in case of documents where we create a sort of a blob, right, which is very difficult in the sense like as we store more documents, it becomes very difficult in the huge database, in the huge environment per se. So actually this vector database helps. So will there be a sort of a fusion, or can I have it separately, like the 23 AI databases, right? Or the latest 23 AI Oracle database comes with a vector as well, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, AI is also going to I am going to have an additional expenses as well, correct? So,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm slightly confused as how this AI might help in terms of an enterprise, though.
Yeah, your question will drive as per the business. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so we that's what I was telling in the very beginning of my session also. We
Mm.
imagine something while developing, okay, and we end up getting something, okay.
Mhm.
So not every use case will be very fruitful, especially when it comes to LLMs. Okay,
Oh,
because these are not a standard API calls. Okay, these are
correct.
not a static API calls. You see the same response always. Okay, what is the response that you're seeing? You're seeing all it is getting summarized one thing, or you want a response which can take decision by its own. Okay, that's another kind of response that you wait for that. Okay, you are you are sending something to a to some input to LLM, and you are expecting the response in favor of you. Okay,
Mm.
which is never gonna be. Okay, now the other thing is, all you can draw the insights out of the information, but you can't come to a conclusion with that information.
I see. So,
Yeah,
okay.
it is like, fancy kind of. For example, you look at the trailer and you imagine something with the movie, and you end after watching the movie, you get disappointed that you really don't know, or
Mm.
it is like audience poll. Few will like that particular cinema, or few may not like that particular cinema after watching. So it's something like that.
Okay. So, you mean to say it is left to the individual enterprise to decide on that, right? Because, my thought process is more towards the cost part of it, because, I have seen certain organizations use that, but now they're capping on
Mhm.
the usages. They have million
Correct.
operations, this thing they charge it, but, they're just
Mhm.
using for the documentation, PPTs and so on and so forth. But,
Mhm. Mhm.
for me, I've not seen a used case wherein which they are heavily used for the application per se. Either in the CI/CD
No,
pipelines, yeah.
yeah. So see, that's where there are many areas this is getting improved. When it comes to coding part,
Yeah,
Devin, software engineer,
correct.
Devin.
Mm, mm,
So you give a prompt, you can onboard your repository to Devin, and you can give a prompt, and it will raise a PR with all the information done. Okay, that's one part. You have your copilot, and you give your prompt, and it will make all the necessary changes in your code file, and you execute them, and you're done. Okay.
mm,
Now, this is another area that's trying to improve. Now, when it comes to somebody who wants to review some documents, okay, now you upload the document and you ask that provide some instructions. Are these correctly existing in the document or not? Then it will say that this portion is missing, this portion is missing, and so and so. Okay.
yeah.
Now, that's another part. Now, you
Oh,
generate the images, PPT, or
right.
something which will
Obviously,
helpful for you.
correct.
Yeah, that's another
And that,
part. But
yeah.
Mhm.
But obviously,
Yeah.
in the enterprise level, right? People always think on the
Uh,
cost. So, say for example, you're talking about the CI/CD where currently if I'm using Jenkins, right? If I'm going to use the Copilot, can I remove the Jenkins part and I can use the Copilot for doing everything, or is that a feasibility that way?
yeah, you have no Jenkins is not so great. You have Git Actions. If you
Yeah.
look at Git Actions,
Hmm.
GitHub is now integrated with MCPs. Okay,
Oh.
so if you have GitHub APIs, then Git
Mm,
Actions are very much helpful for your CI/CDs. For example, your CI/CD Git action got failed at some point. Okay,
mm,
then
mm.
you really don't know why it is getting failed. Okay, for the check.
Correct.
Then you
Correct.
will try to investigate in your interface that okay, this is a portion where it got failed, and you blocked for 2 to 3 days for your deployment. Okay,
Mm, mm.
then who is going to help you? So you need a GitHub API. If you have a GitHub API, then you send it to LLM, and LLM will try to provide you some insights.
Got you. Got you.
Okay. Now this
Mm,
could be another use case for GitHub Actions itself, right? For your
mm.
enterprise. Now this will automatically solve your problem. You generate a summary or instructions for your failure situation, and you go and give to Copilot, and it will generate a code related to that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so there are few things which is where we have not even stepped, but there are some already improvements being done, which we are not aware of it.
But
So,
right, yeah, I
to
got
your question, honestly
yeah,
saying, enterprise will look at the cost where
correct,
we are unable to satisfy the expectation of the business.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So this is not a magic, right? LLM is not a magic that it will try to be in favor of you all the times.
that's right. Thanks, Abhinav. Yeah, I got the point.
Thank you.
Girish, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, sure. So are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Girish.
Yeah, okay. Hey, hi. Thanks for giving this session. This is amazing. So I have a couple of questions. One thing is like our organization gave this GitHub Copilot for us to experimenting on these
Mm-hmm.
things. So I am working on the data engineering side. So we are coming up with a
Mm-hmm.
list of instructions to do all our daily jobs to automate the things. And
Mm-hmm.
underlying this Copilot, it is using this GPT 4.0, those models only, right? So one question I
Mm-hmm.
have is like the way you explained on this LLMs, right? If we build our own LLMs and we need to have a separate setup to using this workflow things, right? So can we implement similar thing of this agentic workflow using GitHub Copilot?
No, no. So you need an external API. So Copilot is already having its own integrated LLM models. Okay, one is GPT-4o. The latest, if you see, Opus 4.7 is also having. If you upgrade it to, you can see your token usage also in Copilot in the drop
Yeah,
in the very corner of your VS Code. You'll see
yeah.
when you click on Copilot, you'll see you can set up all your models also. There are different models, not only GPT-4o. GPT-4o is now old previous model, right? 5.5 is the latest model. So these are already integrated with Copilot, where Azure is taking care of. You have no way to utilize them. Okay. All you need is
Yeah.
an external API which is being purchased by your enterprise. Okay. And with that API, you can start your agentic workflows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So then we don't, okay, let's say we build our own LLM architecture, like whichever you mentioned, so that we can't integrate with this GitHub Copilot. We need to have a separate
No, no. Correct.
application itself
Correct.
together. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And I have one
So
last
that
question
is,
actually. So, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead, please. You're
Copilot
saying,
is Azure owns Copilot, right? So Azure
yeah.
is having its own models. So they are, whatever the prompt you are sending, you're actually sending it to Copilot. Copilot is being used those models. Yeah.
Yeah, but we
Hey,
can define with the instructions
okay.
on the workflow, right?
Yeah, you can define, you can select your own model.
Okay, got it. And one last question I have is, say someone is talking. But anyway,
Yeah, I see.
uh,
Could someone
so
mute Ram? I think Ram, can you mute?
Yeah, I
Go
muted
ahead.
him. You can go ahead with it.
yeah. So last question I have is like, so right now, like let's say if it is Copilot I'm using, right? So I'm using these GPT models or cloud models. So the concern I have is with the enterprise data, like let's say if we add the context of all the repository to the model, so how does that work actually? So the models again use my enterprise data to train that as a public one, or like is there a limitations it can apply to?
No, no.
I'm just trying to
So,
understand the
so
leakage
when
of the
you
data.
correct, correct. So when you purchase, when they purchase, they follow all the standards of compliance and everything. Okay. So
Okay.
they provide you that they will not utilize your data as per the policies and agreement. Okay. So definitely they will take care of the data leakage and all
Oh, okay. So
because
they don't use our
somebody may.
context.
Yeah, somebody don't put their entire network into someone's hands, right? So definitely
Right.
they will take care of those things while they purchase. Yeah, they will definitely have all the policies done unless whenever they provide you at enterprise level.
Okay. Got it. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anil Kumar, please proceed with your question.
Hi, Abhinav, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Hi, Anil.
Hi. Thank you for this session today. One quick question on the compliance agent, right? In our multi-agent architecture. So I had a quick question regarding, like, let's say, because this is a loan approval system, a hypothetical system, and government has policies regarding loans, right? Let's say they say for the first-time loan buyers, we are increasing the loan amount starting, let's say, today. But the system has already started processing loans, last few weeks, where the amount was lower and they are in flight. Let's say the applications are in flight and the final decision has not been made. Now, starting today with that new rule, do you have to restart the entire system to make sure that they are all reprocessed, or in the vector database, your compliance documents are all probably loaded, right? Which has this amount, probably from old amount. So how does that get updated? Like, do you do a just-in-time RAG,
No.
separately?
So,
Or do you put some kind of a time to live on a cache or some on the vector records, so that please go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, very good question. I tell you something, okay? So you have ingested all your documents and your vector database is ready
Right.
with the latest information for today. Okay?
Right.
Today you got all the applications, 100
The new applications are fine.
uh,
The old applications which are in flight.
Today only today your documents are updated, and today only they have you got 100 new applications which are in processing stage. They're not yet processed.
Okay.
So tomorrow tomorrow itself you got a new policies and something got changed.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That means yesterday, which are all in processing stage. Okay.
Right.
And there are new set of policies, and you need to now review with the latest policies. Okay.
Right.
Because you can't come to a conclusion and with an outdated information, right?
Right.
So this is your question, correct?
Right.
So
Right.
now I'll come up with a strategy where I will additionally have another set of logic where my documents will get compared, okay, with my most latest released version with my previous version. And I will only look at those areas which got changed and how is it affecting my applicants some final review. How is it affecting there? Which portion, which segment, which section is affecting? So I will only focus on those areas. Instead of me going back and ingesting very instantly, I will only do that kind of I will work on those areas which is affecting. And now I really do not require my past policy documents, right, which got outdated. So now I will insert only the fresh documents to intake new applicants information.
So you will run a just-in-time RAG pipeline separately to update the vector
RAG
database?
pipeline will be very separately before any new intake coming up. RAG pipeline will be very separate. But apart from that, I will compare the documents. What am I saying is, if you see my screen.
Okay.
Okay.
I
So
don't
what
mean
am I
to
going to
take
do?
most of the I don't mean to take more time, but yeah.
No, that's fine. So you see here. Now this is section 1. Okay. This is section 1 from my previous document. Okay, this is my old document. This is my new document. I will compare only this section which is got affected from my final output.
So when you say compare, you're doing a delta, like.
Yeah, delta logic. I will write a delta logic to compare my
Okay.
my documents, which is the latest document from my old document, which section got changed.
Okay.
Okay. If that particular section is affecting my applicants which are in processing stage,
Mm-hmm.
then I
Mm-hmm.
will come up with a fallback for that particular applications which are in processing stage.
Oh, so you will
Now,
identify
the
the
new
in-flight
set of
applications. Okay.
correct, correct. Only for new flying applications only this logic works. But for new set of applicants, by the
Mm.
time I will insert this new document and replace with the vectors.
Yes. So your vector DB is updated for the new applicants because it's all fresh,
Correct.
right? So
Yeah.
for the new applicants, in your entire architectural flow, when the compliance agent comes in, when for each applicant, when the flow comes to the compliance agent, that guy when he queries the vector database to get the context to give it to the LLM
Uh-huh.
to review
Uh-huh.
to review whether his loan application is compliant with the new rules. By the time his vector
Uh-huh.
database is updated with the latest amount,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
his similarity search works. So what you're saying is for all the in-flight applications, you'll probably write some script, identify what are the in-flight applications because they are no longer valid because they're all all the in-flight applications which are at a stage where the compliance agent is already also working, right? So for all the in-flight
Mm-hmm.
applications, compliance agent, it has to reach the stage where it has reached a compliance agent, right? Only for those you will do this comparison and then
Yeah.
make them okay. It's like rerunning then. It's like rerunning the compliance agent for those in-flight applications so that he
No,
makes
no,
up.
no. This is on top of complaints agent. You see it here.
Okay,
This
okay.
is my final review, right?
Oh, okay, okay,
This
okay.
on top of my final review, I will
Uh-huh.
get some alert. Okay.
Okay.
I will get some alert saying that my bank applications policies got changed with the new set of policies yesterday night. Okay.
Okay.
Now this
Let's.
final review
Mhm,
response.
mhm. So let's say there are 100 applications which are in flight. Based on the old policy, your loan approval system has approved them without even manual intervention, let's say.
No, 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 not
Oh,
at
okay.
all.
Okay.
Not at all. No, I
Oh,
can't
there'll always
rely
be a
on
human.
LLM.
Okay, got it, got it, got it. Okay. So there is
Okay.
always a
So
human review there. So you reach the application final stage,
yeah, yeah.
and then you will apply for
No,
those additional. Okay.
correct, correct. Correct. I
Oh,
can't put my bank in risk saying like that. Okay. So always human review would be there.
okay. For those, you will just add additional step and then make sure you get the latest policy,
Correct.
and
Correct.
then you will either approve or reject them. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and also one quick question regarding the
Uh-huh.
all the agents will be using the LLM models, right? At some point, once they have the context, and
Uh-huh.
then if there
Yeah.
is an outage in the LLM, which might not
Uh-huh.
happen, but on a rainy day scenario, when there is an outage in an
Mhm.
LLM for like 1 or 2 minutes, what happens to this system state? Like, so all the applications are locked or are blocked. Do
Yeah.
we?
So 100% your question is very right question. If you go and search in the OpenAI's developer community also, you'll see the similar question. There is something called the
Oh,
499, 429 rate limit error. Okay. So that is
okay,
nothing but uh, the token timeout and there is no response from LLM intermittently.
right.
Okay. So if your agent is failed to respond something and there is no
Hmm.
output for another agent to pass or to take as an input, then some
Okay,
got completely blocked. Then you should have a fallback in place, which will try to um, either your next agent is keep waiting for the output or whatever the input you're sending, which is depending on the next agent. So you should have a proper fallback so that your outputs are not harmed and you rerun the entire state again, something like that.
Okay.
So which is a real-time challenge. We have to
Yeah,
come
which
up
means
with
you
that
need to,
strategy.
yeah, which means you need to maintain this global state in a database, keep it up to date, because for you to
Yes.
restart, it has to pick it up. The state machine has to pick up from the latest instead of running the
Yes.
entire
Yes.
flow again. Okay, man, this is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
complicated, but
Yeah,
okay.
that's where checkpoint comes into the picture for the global states, whatever you call it. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, got it. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
So
Thank
these
you,
are all
Abhinav.
consequences. It's nothing. You face a different challenge, and it's your experience. And unless you share it with some other person, you will never
Right,
know it actually.
right,
Uh,
right.
yeah.
Good, thank you.
Thank you for a very good question. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, we have last two questions, Abhinav. Chandrika, you can go ahead with your question. We have Satish. Satish, please proceed.
Hi. Actually, my question is more on I'm hearing from the agent perspective. I'm hearing a lot of people are using OpenClaw. What is that? Is that an agent which is different from means enterprise company like any banking or any agency can use it directly, or what exactly it achieves more from a agent perspective?
So you mean to say that how the outputs are utilized is what you say?
Yeah. What is the use case for the OpenClaw? Like where we can use the OpenClaw from a software IT professional perspective. Like if I'm a cloud engineer, where I can
So
use or
OpenClaw, I don't think so that enterprises will encourage. Right now, it's not a stage where OpenClaw can be onboarded to the enterprises. But as an open source, OpenClaw does many things, and you can utilize to fetch the latest information. You can read all the set of information present in your local system. So it does many things, but it is also, I heard that it's not so, it is very, very quick in fetching the informations to any extent. This is what I heard. But practically, I did not give a try with OpenClaw. But it does many things. But when it comes to specifically for your enterprise, this is not the time that they onboard it to enterprise because there is no stop point for OpenClaw. So it will try to fetch that level of details information, which includes PIA information also. So we should be
okay.
careful by using OpenClaw at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, one on the same thing. So, the agents which we are talking, right? The agentic AI. So the framework which we are using for getting this agentic AI, does it bow like from the enterprise? What is the least thing you use right now at a high level? I don't need the exact thing, but at a high level, what are the best things for a person to check on at a high level? From the agentic AI perspective, if I want to use an agentic AI, I know LLM RAG are there, but and LangChain, LangGraph, and Langsmith are there. But other than that, what is the ecosystem should be just from a high level perspective to just look at it holistically from 100 feet thing. Just from your latest project or the projects you worked, just give us like so that we can keep those things in mind and prepare around that. That's the main reason I'm
Yeah.
asking this question.
Yeah. So definitely. See, now traditional way of developing is gone. There is no traditional way of development. There is no traditional way of sprint planning also. Going forward, it would change. 100% it would change. Now the efficiency got into 100 times. Okay. I'm not exaggerating the things, but it is sooner or later you will see the change in the industry. Okay. Now, why is this changing? If you find an effective person in your team, all your team members will reach out to that person to get the solution. Okay. Now, every team member is having that effective person that is nothing but a chat GPT or any LLM model, or now Copilot is onboarded to almost all the enterprises, and Copilot is trying to give you access to work on the codes. Okay. Now every person's efficiency is now into more than 50% what exactly they are today, right? So now you got the change. Now the development is now being changed that there is UI screens are getting developed. You have Replit, you have many other base 44, many other prompt based, vibe coding based UI screens getting generated. Now they are also extensively integrating with databases also. You just give the credentials, passwords, everything, then that will create the database also for you. There is no doubt at all. Okay. You give the table information, it will create a database for you. Now everything, if it is doing by itself with your prompts, okay. Now somebody who is very effective in giving the prompt and creating those things will be playing a vital role in the development, right? Because you no need any other help. You no need a huge team members also, because everything is done by prompting. Now, the traditional way has gone. You are now more efficient into 100 times. Okay. Now, do you really think that the team size is going to get reduced from 10 members to 5 members, tomorrow 3 members? Okay. You will have your team size is now getting reduced, but your efficiency is into 100 times. There is no wait time for 15 days for sprint planning or something like that. Now, you know what to develop at the same time. Your business is directly interacting with a developer. Okay. Now, this is what the trend going to start very sooner or later. Now, at this stage, if you are focusing on something that, there would be an application, okay, they will come and give the requirement, and then you start developing, you start coding. So, this kind of mindset should be changed to, okay, how to achieve that particular goal with very less time, very less time, and what else can you do to improve the business is what the mindset to be changed. Okay. So this is what I suggest to work upon. Apart from being a part of LLMs, and there won't be any traditional coding itself. Everything would be prompting. So you start working with prompts, how to code with the prompts using Copilot, and raise the PRs and see that how effectively it is working, write logs, something like that, to improve your application standard very correctly using the prompts with Copilot. So just start with that and think in a direction that there is no blocker. These days there is nothing blocker. Okay, every information you are getting through Copilot or through chat GPT or through LLMs. Okay. There is no stop point for any individual. Okay. Every person has access to lot of information today, but the mindset should change to somewhere that how to utilize the information and how effectively you can utilize the information to improve the business standards, to improve the enterprise standards, or if your team is working on some use case, how to improve that use case very effectively utilizing these tools. So that will bring you more importance than you developing something, because I don't think so. There is some competition between the developers because everyone has access to ChatGPT. Okay. So did
Yeah.
it answer your question?
Yeah, yeah.
Deviate?
More of a ecosystem perspective I ask, but this is good. Um, from an agentic framework, I will touch base with you on the LinkedIn. Okay, that's fine. I don't
Yeah,
want to
touch
waste
base.
everybody because my question is more towards what to learn. But I can touch base with you on that from the LinkedIn
Correct.
perspective. I got an
Yeah.
holistic idea of what is going to happen, how we can develop more from the prompt. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Binu.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Abhinav, for today's session. And yeah, I request everyone to send the details through registration form. We will reach out to you offline to discuss more on the new batch course content and everything. And Abhinav is one of our senior mentor who will be teaching in our new batch as well. So definitely you'll get a lot of knowledge and a lot of topics he will be teaching you. So definitely it will benefit you. Thank you, Abhinav, for today's session, and thank you, everyone. We'll meet next week.
Thank you. Thank you all.